As you build your brokerage or recruit agents, are you thinking beyond the transaction? I spoke with Rainy Hake Austin. She is the president of the agency, and she very clearly defined the value proposition of the agency and what she hopes to get across to anyone joining their firm. But I think it's a takeaway that we could all learn from is really thinking about the lifestyle and the consumers that we're serving as much as we do think about the transaction itself or the agents that we're serving. So enjoy the podcast. Rainy, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Tracey. It's so great to be here.
The agency did super well in the RealTrends Verified rankings, number 13 by volume. You climbed up the rankings, and also fourth largest private independent. So congratulations on that.
Thank you, Tracey. We're super proud of that. The team's been working hard to continue to expand the brand and the mission out there. We're glad that it's resonating.
Yeah, and I want to talk a little bit about that, kind of your mission. What are the key strategies that have really driven your growth over the past year or two?
Yeah, certainly. It's a combination of things, as you can imagine. One of, I think, the most prevalent pieces of our strategy as we look to grow to be a truly international global luxury lifestyle company is to find people who believe in our mission and our vision. And that really just means that we're very much people first. And so as we've continued to grow, we've been growing mostly through our global partnerships as we've been opening new offices. And so I've been with the company for just over 5 years. And inside of that, I think we've opened nearly 100 offices. And that's during a time where most companies have been sort of merging, morphing, and disappearing over the last 3 years. And so we've really seen our strategy to be a growth strategy of growing out of what I'll call a housing recession on top of other sort of like macroeconomic headwinds. And as we've been doing that, it's really been a people first approach. We're going into our target markets. And what we do when we go into a target market is we're looking at where are the existing offices that we have and where is there already existing momentum for feeder markets or opportunities. And then we go into that market, we look for the best agent or team or boutique brokerage that's already there. And then we interview them for culture fit and make sure. So like when I say people first approach, it really is about finding people who believe in the mission and the vision of innovating. Our mission is to sort of disrupt the way that traditional real estate is done from the perspective of thinking about pushing boundaries and reinventing the way we market or storytell. And that's really allowed us to find people who not just resonate with us, but then resonate in the local marketplace. And then where we have existing company-owned offices, going deeper with finding more individuals who also believe inside of that. And so we've grown through like-minded individuals, global partners, but it's also been about being creative and nimble inside of the things that we've done. So we've stayed hyper-focused on like the agents and clients and what they want. And I think that's also created like a magnetic attraction to people. So as we've gone into new marketplaces, we've been very blessed in the fact that our brand has resonated in those new markets because I feel like there's a little bit of blue sky and the brand's been seen as fresh air inside of those markets where there's been more traditional brands that have existed. And so I think it's been a sort of like a combination of target markets with the right people and really sort of doubling down on our core competencies and leading with those as we expand.
Do you see any strategy that would include bigger M&A moving forward?
Yeah, we've explored M&A opportunities in a multitude of ways. And so we've looked at acquiring teams, boutique brokerages, but also core services companies. And so, one of our parts of our visions as we're looking at is we started as a regional boutique real estate company in Southern California, and we figured, okay, we're doing that really well. And so we came up with this concept of global partnership, which most people call franchising, but we do franchising differently than others, and that like we really partner with the individuals and that we encapsulate them inside of our ecosystem. It's not like we just sell access to our brand. It's very, very different. All of our leadership calls, everything's combined and connected. And so as we look to expand, we're looking for others who are out in the marketplace, and there's a lot of M&A going on, if you can probably tell inside of the marketplace, even with strategic partners coming in, whether it's mortgage companies or portals coming in and merging together. And so we've been looking at the opportunities of markets that we want to go into, but also some of our global partners who have found success in markets where they might want to be expanding. And so we have definitely opened up our doors to look to find additional people who want to join the brand. And we have proactively been looking at sponsorship dollars and people who want to come in and strategically partner with us to help with that expansion. So we don't have anything specific on the horizon to share, but we've definitely been more than putting a toe in, but putting a whole foot in, looking at the opportunities of where we have, we don't typically lean into M&A. The only large acquisition we've ever done since the company has started was our merger with Triplement in New York. Really, all of our growth has been very organic. And so this is a little bit of a divergence from our past decade of growth, but we think that we're at that place where we can start growing. And again, with the people first, if we have the right person, we really have good systems and processes in place now that we think that we can integrate them into our ethos. And so we're finally at that place where we think we might be able to start biting off some of those larger pieces and doing so successfully.
Great. That's good to hear. And how do you do have a boutique feel to your brand. How do you scale that as you grow bigger? What are some of the things that you're doing to scale that and keep that feel?
It's a great question. It's probably the number one thing that keeps me up at night when I think about our growth and our expansion. We've had great success there. The team focuses a lot on processes and systems as we do that. So what I mean by that is if we're bringing on a global partner, for instance, it's a courting period. I mean, we spend maybe 6 months interviewing them interviewing us, making sure it's the right fit. I personally meet with every single global partner who joins before they go through the application process to make sure that we really do think that they have a fit. Our comprehensive onboarding and training that goes through that, and then just the indoctrination. So once we bring on a new agent or a new manager or a new global partner, as I mentioned before, all of our managers are on a consistent manager meeting once a month together. We are sharing best practices. We're talking about expectations. We hold each other accountable to what the brand stands for. And so there's a bit of self-policing that happens inside of that. But it's really with great intention around like the processes and systems that we have in place and how we intentionally run things differently. We have an ops team that will that literally meets with all of our offices once a month, going over what it is that they're doing. Our centralized marketing team is training the marketing staff and team who are out in all of our branch locations, even for the global partners. We coach and mentor them on a monthly basis to make sure that they know the newest strategy and trends, not just like what we're launching, but we're also making sure that everyone's skill set's up. So we do that for agents, staff managers, to really make sure that we maintain this bar so people understand like we're known for innovation and marketing and collaboration. And so like we practice those things all the time, and we don't assume that it's going to happen just at happenstance, particularly as we grow. And then we set, even like mentorships and buddies up with others that are successful as people are entering and growing. Whether you're an agent, staff manager, franchise, there's, an orientation around the brand and expectations that happen as you're onboarded. So all of those great intentions, I think, help and set the sort of the stage for those expectations. And then it's a follow through on that for the accountability piece.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so I want to talk you mentioned about global partners. What are some of the leadership qualities you're looking for in the brokers that you're talking to or bringing on?
Yeah, I think that it really, the leadership qualities that we look for in individuals are really a representative of our pillars and characteristics of the brand. And so we want the brand to be forward thinking. We want it to be innovative and creative. We want it to be a little bit edgy, but still super professional. And so I think those are similar to the qualities that we look for in the leaders. We want people who are thought leaders. We want people who believe in Doing good and being good is good business. Ethics and professionalism, putting that at the forefront. We train and coach around this all the time, and it's really important that all of our leaders practice that. We believe that if you're always putting your client first, like the paycheck follows, it's like the icing on the cake. It's not the thing that's motivating. That customer service experience is really important for us. So I look for leaders who have a servant heart and really are putting their agents first, their clients first, the betterment of the company and the culture and the entire team above an individual or an instance. And so we want the people who are certainly best in class at the things they do. We look at people who are world-class sales individuals who have experience in the luxury market, which is, our particular niche that we focus on. But outside of those practical, like resume builders, we're really looking for leaders who aren't okay with the status quo, that are pushing themselves and their team to always be thinking above and beyond. We call it our 1 inch. And so it's like, I don't ask people to go an extra mile, just one more inch. Think of the things you already do really well and figure out how you can do them just a little bit better with everything that you're doing. And certainly, now in the world of like AI and technology and all of that, it's really about like, how do we have an open mindset to be embracing that and not just falling back or resting on our laurels and the things that we've done well, or being complacent, or being arrogant or falling into our ego, because it is easy to be like, oh, I've accomplished this. So, like, I'm good. And I really love having leaders who know that we have a little bit of like a target of like, hey, you're doing that well. People are going to be copying you. So you have to constantly be reinventing yourself without following the shiny object, like really being intentional about choosing that path yourself and being discerning as to like where the puck is going to be going and anticipating those needs. And I think that's part of what really creates that service culture that we're known for, as well as the innovative brand. And it's all about the people behind the brand that make that possible, with our leaders who perpetuate that thought and then encourage and inspire the staff to do the same, and the agents as well.
And can you describe what you mean by ethical leadership? I know that's one thing that the agency, talks about a lot. How do you define that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that, Mauricio talks about this a lot too, because he'll be one of the first people to say that the real estate industry has given to him so much inside of his own career. And one of his personal missions, and certainly mission of the company, is to elevate up the perception and the actual experience and professionalism that real estate professionals bring. And I think that there's been moments in time where there are licensed individuals inside the real estate industry who don't really practice it as a full-time job, and therefore they're maybe not as well versed in laws or local nuances. Certainly you're licensed for the entire state of California, for instance, and you might be a Southern California agent trying to sell up in Sacramento, and you might not know what you're doing there, right? And so we practice common best practices like referring outside of your marketplace and getting a referral fee, rather than trying to expand outside of your knowledge base unless there's like a particular reason to do that, right? And so again, like the not putting the dollars before the person is a big piece of that. When we talk about like doing good and being good is good business as one of our philosophies, it really is about coming from a place of knowing black and white, what's right and wrong. It's not gray for us. It's like, that's the right thing to do. That's the wrong thing to do. And so making sure that our team work in the gray area when it comes to pushing innovation and creativity, but not when it comes to professionalism and the care of our clients or our agents. And so I think it's having that as a steadfast environment that we all work in. And again, kind of the self-policing of it, like the other leaders in the organization set a standard and expect their colleagues to follow through on that. And I think that's where like our rule number one comes in, is really about making sure that everyone who is here believes in the mission and vision of putting the clients first and putting our agents first and servicing them, but being knowledgeable and professional. It's really We put a lot of emphasis in education and training. We have a lot of emphasis in risk management and being proactive about keeping people out of trouble. New things that are coming down the pipeline, even if they're not finished, we're talking about them so people can be preparing for them, role playing, all of those types of things internally, and not just at the agent level, at the staff level too, so that they know how to service and support the agents inside of it, and making sure that all of our agents are full-time professional agents. They take it really seriously as a career and not as like a part-time job. It's like those standards of care that we put into place that assure professionalism and ethical behavior inside of the things that we do.
Yeah, I want to get into a more controversial issue, at least in the industry right now. Obviously, founder Maurizio Umansky has been very vocal about the clear cooperation and private listings, even considering legal action around it at one point. So tell me, how do you navigate compliance while advocating for the agent and client flexibility? And tell me a little bit about your stance on that.
Yeah, I mean, certainly it's interesting because I can think right now, clear cooperation and private networks are a very hot topic, but you and I know like they're not a new topic. Like this has
No.
been around for a while and it kind of just resurfaces in cycles. And Mauricio certainly is very vocal about it because he is so vocal about putting clients first and making sure that that's always what drives it and that we're not like over regulating or regulating for the wrong reasons. And it's not even for the benefit of the brokerage or giving unfair advantage to individuals or what's the best portal. It really is about there are certain marketing strategies that work. We are in the luxury high-end market. There are times where it makes sense to privately market something because that's what the client wants or needs. And we believe in the ability to have flexibility as a real estate professional to be able to do that for our clients when it makes sense. But it is our strong belief that the majority of properties really deserve to be exposed at the highest and most visible way because we feel like the greater the visibility, the more competitive it is, the higher possible price. And if you've ever been to like a Lorna Hines, it's like the highest possible price training that you try to propel. And so our belief system is about propelling that forward. And so having an infrastructure that has the flexibility to give our sellers what they need, as well as having the widest market for the buyers to be able to have a competitive marketplace. And so that's really what our belief system is and what we support, and always putting our clients and agents at the forefront of that.
That's great. And I could see in the luxury market, there definitely being a need in some instances to, use a private network to market a listing. I think everybody believes that. To me, it seems like everybody believes that that's sometimes necessary. And they're afraid that the like delayed marketing option is going to be used more frequently. And that's going to be a problem in the industry. I don't know whether it is or not. Not all MLSs have built their policy around it yet. So we don't even know which MLSs are even going to allow it at this point. So yeah, a lot to be done in the next couple of months.
Yeah, absolutely. There's certainly a lot of speculation still and a lot of uncertainty. There's still a lot to be decided and see what kind of shakes out. But I think ultimately, whenever you have instances like this, you have people who are trying to take advantage of the situation, and then people who are trying to, follow the right path and do what's best for their clients. And sometimes I feel like we overcorrect for the one-offs rather than thinking about like what's the majority of the case. And if we could really focus our attention as an industry on servicing our clients and making sure that our agents are empowered to service the client, and that's what we make our decisions off of, I think that this is not really that hard of a discussion topic. It's just that we kind of get in these circular conversations, for better or worse.
Yeah, absolutely. Post-settlement, there's been a ton of buzz around the idea of agents offering a unique value and really articulating their value. So what initiatives does the agency have to help agents do that and differentiate themselves in competitive markets?
There certainly has been a lot of emphasis put on understanding and communicating value. For
Mhm.
us, it's maybe two parts in large. One of the things we're most known for is our world-class marketing,
Mhm.
PR, and branding. And so as a company, we often are leading with that, but we provide very custom marketing materials for our agents that
Mhm.
focus on here's the agency brand as like a jumping off platform, but we also allow them to customize their own personal branding, and not as I'll kind of say like not as like a hero image as much as it is really about telling the story of this is what I uniquely bring as an individual real estate professional to this target audience. And one of the things that we really work with our agents on is not being everything to everyone, but being the right thing to the right people. And so we say, and it's the same thing for the brand, like, we focus on our niche. We obviously, encapsulate and work with things beyond that, but we don't try to capture everyone and everything. And we really work with our agents to do the same thing. And so as they can go into the market and articulate, these are the things that I can offer, and this is what I'm worth, my time and my expertise. We found that agents have been very successful in being able to win listings and work with buyers and work through some of the sort of confusion that I think initially was there with all the NAR settlements and changes happening around um, sort of compensation discussions, and really focusing back to the value discussion has helped make it more clear to agents. And so there's like the storytelling piece, and there's also like the training. So like listing presentations and buyer presentations and the role playing and working with them on the dialogue. Cause I think that some people just aren't great at talking about themselves. Like our salespeople are really good at selling other things, and to sell themselves isn't always natural depending on the personality. And so coaching, training, mentorship, as well as the branding and marketing support, that combination has really been winning for us.
Great. And so AI is a huge trend right now, and I feel like we're really in the infancy stage of it. What are you looking at in using it? Have you built it into or using any programs that are already have like a really good AI system built into it? How are you embracing that technology?
Yeah, so AI for me falls into this bucket of efficiency technology. And so for many years now, both in my prior brokerages and now here at the agency, I'll just say like one of my favorite topics in the whole world is exceptional customer experiences. And I believe that technology should be primarily used to enhance the human experience. And I've advocated this for many years. It's one of my favorite topics to talk about. And I'm very excited that AI has gotten to where it is, because it has allowed us to, in many ways, automate or make more efficient the types of tasks that are more repetitive that can be automated. So let's just even look at like our design team, for instance. They make beautiful presentations and materials, but they're using AI now to do the first draft of content, copy, video layout, PowerPoint presentations. And then that allows our amazingly skilled designers and content team to go in and tweak it, make it better. And that's what allows us to go like a little bit above and beyond, because if, they're bogged down in like having to lay out every page and copy and paste in the content. So we've also made an amazing hire in Zane Burnett, who's come on as our Senior Vice President of Digital Strategy. He's probably known in the industry as like the leader in digital strategy, AI efficiency. He knows all the tools that everyone's using, and he really understands how everything fits together. He's only been at the company for 2 months, and he's already done an incredible job of overlaying all of our processes and systems and integrating even more things than we already had in place. And so we have multiple tools for agent efficiency. But one of the things that we really lean into is staff efficiency, because one of our goals is to make our staff as efficient as possible so that they can spend more bespoke time with our agents. And so it's really a focus of ours to make sure that our staff is only spending their time manually doing things that are like high talent, high reward, not anything that could be replicated. And AI is one piece of that, machine learning, all of those, but there's other efficiency tools and resources that we've used inside of that as well. So we're actively using that for our client and agent tools, but more so like our big push and initiative right now is really focusing on staff efficiency tools that take them to the next level, that then allow our agents to provide a better service.
Yeah, I mean, it makes so much sense. It also allows the growth to maybe happen a little bit faster as well, because you're taking some of those like repetitive tasks away from staff who could then be working on, like you said, with the agents, growing the business as well. So yeah, I mean, it makes total sense to me. I think a lot of people are just really confused on like specifically how to use it, and they don't realize that they're already using some of it to a certain extent, right?
Yeah, we
So
have some people who are like so knee deep in their chat GPT that like they're asking it like constantly. My husband's like this even at home. I mean,
Mhm.
it's just like it's a new best friend. And so
Mhm.
some people have like just dove into it head first.
Mhm.
We have an sort of an innovation incubation lab internally at the agency too, and the team members are always like pushing each other to use new things. And this was a big initiative that one of our lead designers had put together and was focusing on, and they were already like identifying some of the existing tools that we had that now had new elements that were added on to that. But a big piece of it too is thinking about like how to use it differently, because I think for so many people, they don't know how to get started with it. And so one of the things we were even just talking about on our staff town hall today was that we were launching a whole new series on training. So we are bringing in internal resources as well as external resources to talk to people about how to leverage and utilize technology to create a better service experience, how to leverage it to create efficiencies and productivity in your own role, amongst other training courses that we're focusing on. And so it's really helping them individualize that experience, because people are busy, and when you're busy, you're going to fall back on the things that you do best. I am personally guilty of doing that myself. And so trying to lead by example, demonstrate and use that. Mauricio is one of the best users of AI and chat GPT. He'll throw things in,
Mhm.
do this and send it over to the team and just be like, here's my thoughts and ideas. I've dropped into this. Now, can you guys take it and go do something with it?
Yeah.
And it's allowed him to be so efficient because, we expect him to be in 20 places at once. And it's allowed him to sort of deliver on some of those things. And so it's great when it's a top down initiative where the leaders are using it and demonstrating that it's okay to try this. And, we have a great philosophy at the agency of like fail and fail quickly. And so it's like, try that new thing, see if it works. Some of our team members in design have tried creating videos, using ChatGPT exclusively or using AI exclusively to do some of those renderings, videos, different things like that. And they're like, it's a little too bit mechanical. How can I take that to the next level? And it's like they'll try it, they'll use it, and then they iterate on it. So
Yeah.
we're very much about iteration and
Mhm.
taking that and, like we're saying, a little extra inch, a little extra inch. And so
Yeah.
I think it's really inspired the team to push their own limits and to try new things and feel supported in it. And it's really increased our productivity and our ability to do more with limited resources. Again, given the fact that most brokerages are still hitting the headwinds, even though our pipeline's growing and, we've got lots of optimism for what 2025 and 2026 are going to bring us. We're still really always trying to figure out how to get the most out of the team that we have and keep them inspired. The other piece of this is it allows our team to do the things that they are most talented at and use their talents most effectively. And that's what keeps people happy within their job. If they just mired down in just productivity things, and we're in a productivity industry. I mean, we've got projects, properties, agents with like repetitive requests. And so it's really easy to kind of get stuck inside of that. So if we can find tools that allow people to stay creative and happy, I think that's a great retention tool for us too.
Yeah, absolutely. So my last question is just how do you hope the agency will shape the future of real estate? It's a deep one.
Yeah, and it's a great question. I mean, I think I have to lean back into our vision being that we truly want to be a global luxury lifestyle company. And I
Mhm.
think the thing that's different about that than most real estate companies is it really is about being a true advisor for our clients from start to finish. And I've been in the industry for almost 30 years now, and I've had a dream from the very beginning, coming in being a person who loves to see efficiency and I love customer experience. I really would like to see the entire real estate ecosystem become much more united and have a higher level of expectations for service and care. And we have a big initiative on our core services side to understand our supply chain, to all of the elements that the consumer experiences throughout the transaction, and then beyond. Like, we started the agency art house this year, which was pretty extraordinary. We had a successful art house reach out to us and inquire about using the agency name and brand and partnering with us. And you see out there that there are other real estate brokerages that have done the opposite. Like, they've licensed the name of existing art houses and auction houses. So to have gotten to the place where the agency brand stands for luxury and lifestyle in that way, it's setting the tone and the path for what we really want to create, which is a path forward to be an advocate and to be an advisor for our clients beyond just the real estate transaction, and really expand those interactions in our network to create a cohesive ecosystem that's of high quality and standard, and then be able to expand that. We have beautiful offices, for instance, in Turks and Caicos, right? They have clients who reach out to them all the time who want to come down to vacation first, then they want to, get a private jet or a private yacht to charter to go to the other islands. Once they buy property, they want to be able to rent it out possibly. And so it's like, okay, well, how can we be partnering either by creating our own or having partnerships with private jets and charters and property management, as well as event planning? It's like they want to go down there and they want to create these amazing experiences. And so we have like some of our offices and in Mexico and other destination locations that will, procure and help have planned weddings and parties and your fireworks coming out from your property. And so like it's the entire experience. And if we can change the industry in any way, it's like making that more of the norm, is to understand how you not just fit into this individual transactional thing, but that how you own that relationship and how you take your ethos, your standard of care, all of the value that you have, and you expand it to the ecosystem and beyond. And I think by doing that, we add value and professionalism and just so much more to our industry. And I would love for that to be the gift that the agency brings to the entire industry, leading the way in that category.
I love that. I mean, and it makes a lot of sense, just really thinking beyond the transaction. So Rainy, thank you so much for joining the podcast today. I really appreciate your time.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure, Tracey. Thanks for all that you do for us. You're amazing.
Thank you.